There's a fine line between a good deal and too good to be true. Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Optimized Online Marketing Podcast. Today, we are talking all about pricing. If you price your product too high, then people won't take you seriously. But if you price it too low, people won't see the value in your product either. Today, we're going to talk about finding that sweet spot of exactly where you should price your product or program. You're listening to the Optimized Online Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Stacey Barnes. I'm a customer journey marketing strategist, and I help you maximize sales by optimizing the customer experience. So I'm curious if you have seen the show Selling Sunset on Netflix. It's a show all about selling high-end real estate with a little bit of drama mixed in. But today we're not talking about the drama. Today we're talking about pricing. If you watch any real estate show, one of the first things that they do when it comes to selling a home is to look at the other homes in the area. They're called comps or comparable prices. Essentially, you want to price your home that's within the range of other homes in the area. Technically, you can price your home at whatever you want to, but if you price your $500,000 home at $10 million, the likelihood of finding a buyer is very unlikely. For all my OG Selling Sunset fans, do you remember the episode where Davina tries to sell a $70 million home that's only worth about $40 million? The owner of the home really pushed for that $70 million range, even though the prices in the area were closer to 40. Now, he really thought his home had a lot of value, and it was a beautiful, gorgeous home with a lot of additions and really great architecture. However, when it comes to a buyer, the buyers looking in that area want something closer to that $40 million range. $70 million for including all of the upgrades and all of the fancy bells and whistles that this house had to offer was just not worth that extra $30 million. So the risk that comes with overpricing a home is that it sits on the market for longer. The pool of buyers gets smaller and smaller because the longer that the house sits on the market, the more that people are going to think that something's wrong with it, and they're going to want even less than what the market rate is. The other strategy when it comes to pricing real estate is to price just under what market value is. Market value is sort of the standard. It's kind of like the Kelley Blue Book pricing of homes. But essentially, you want to price just under to drive a little bit of desires. If you price it just below market value, people will think it's a great deal. If you price it too low, then people will get suspicious about the pricing. There's a fine line between a good deal and too good to be true. All right, so let's get into the different tiers of products that you could be offering and the industry average for those different tiers. In this episode, we're going to cover the pricing for your signature course or program, the mini course, the introductory low ticket offer, as well as the high-end mastermind, just to kind of give you an idea of the different range of products and programs that you could be offering. All right, let's start with the signature program. The signature program usually consists of multiple modules with multiple lessons, including a Q&A, some additional support, and these courses or programs typically run anywhere from 6 weeks to about 3 months. Again, this is just a standard range. Your program could be a little bit less, it could be a little bit more. However, this is sort of the center that you want to aim for when it comes to your program. So pricing for a signature course is approximately $2,000 for straight down the middle. There are programs that can kind of start at $1,000. They can go upwards of $3,000 to $5,000. But if you're looking for where the median is for most of these programs, it's around $2,000. Across different industries, the pricing is going to vary, and I want to talk about some of the exceptions here. Now, this is going to be a bit of a broad generalization, but I just want to show you why some businesses or some industries charge less and some industries charge more. For example, if you're in the B2B space, if you're selling email marketing or how to podcast or how to generate any kind of money, then that one is typically going to be on the higher end of the scale. If you're teaching something that's B2C, where you're trying to teach people how to bake cookies or how to craft, that's going to be on the lower end of the scale because they're investing on how to do something and less on how to make money. The return on the investment for something like crafting or baking is the finished product. Okay, I've learned how to make a cookie, or okay, I've learned how to knit. So the return on investment is a little bit less than somebody investing thousands of dollars on a program where they can generate more money through email marketing or podcasting, etc. So there's always going to be exceptions to everything, whether it's a signature program, low ticket offer, etc. Again, this episode is meant to be a guide to help you price your product or program. This is a good starting point and you can adjust from there. Okay, so signature courses or programs are kind of the starting tier of where you want to start your pricing, and then we can go down one level. The next level below that is the mini course. It's a smaller version of your signature course, or it's kind of like a segment of your signature course, or a course that leads up to that signature program. For example, Amy Porterfield has her DCA or Digital Course Academy that teaches you all about how to create a signature course. That one's priced at around $2,000. And then she has a smaller course called List Builder Society. I think that's what it's called now, but basically it teaches list building, and that's somewhere in the $300 to $500 range. I don't know exactly where it's priced at now, but when I did purchase it a while back, it was around $300. So a mini course would be something like 2 or 3 modules as opposed to like 6 to 8 for a signature course. It's a lot smaller, more digestible, with a lot smaller price point. So earlier we talked about how industry can affect pricing. The other thing that you want to consider when it comes to pricing higher or lower is reputation. The better your reputation is, the more testimonials you have, the more proof of concept, the higher that you can charge, the higher price that you can charge. You don't necessarily need a ton of followers in order to charge a premium price. However, you do need to show case studies or testimonials where this product or program that you've created has actual results. The more results, the higher the price. Now, if you don't have a really good reputation, and not saying you don't have a good reputation, you just don't have enough followers, or you don't have enough proof of concept, you don't have enough testimonials, then you're going to want to charge a little bit less. Now, the question is how much less, or how, I don't know how to say that, how much lesser should you charge for your product or program if you have no testimonials? Where is that starting point? This is where we get into what's called beta pricing. Beta pricing is also built into your reputation as well. So for example, someone like Amy Porterfield can come out with a brand new program about podcasting. She can charge a little bit of a higher price during the beta than other people can, as opposed to someone who's an unknown who comes in and creates a program about podcasting. They can't charge as much as somebody like Amy could. Now, if you're looking for a formula on how to price your beta, there's no exact formula out there. However, a good starting point is to charge around 50% of what you would normally charge for a program that has been tested and is showing results. All right, so that's the mini course. Now, the next thing we're going to move on to is what's called a low ticket offer. And this is almost like an introduction to the introduction of your product or program. The mini course is sort of a small little taste of like what a signature program could be. The low ticket offer is the no-brainer. A low ticket offer is typically something like a mini challenge, a workshop, or a more robust PDF. The low ticket offer sits in between your free lead magnet and your mini or signature course. It's a great way for customers to kind of get their feet wet with working with you without fully investing hundreds of dollars. So a low ticket offer is generally priced between $7 and $97, with the sweet spot being around $47. The low ticket offer is a great way to see what customers can get in exchange for their money. And so typically you want to offer a ton of value for the price point. So if you offer something that's $47, they should be getting at least $200 worth of value from that low ticket offer. This is the concept of under promising and over delivering. The last thing you want to do is to over promise and under deliver. That's going to give your customer a very bad experience when it comes to working with you and less likely to purchase other products or programs. Under promising and over delivering is something that you want to carry out throughout your entire product suite. The more that you can deliver to the customer unexpectedly, the better the experience is going to be. If your program is priced at around $2,000 and they get exactly $2,000 of value, the experience is going to be equal but not something to rave about. Whereas if you have a product or program that's around $2,000 but you offer $5,000 to $10,000 worth of value, then this person is going to go out raving to everybody about how amazing the program is. So I'm not telling you to undercharge for your products or program. However, from the customer experience, the more value that they get from something compared to the price that they paid, the more that they're going to rave about it and the happier that they're going to be. All right, so now we're going to dive into high-end masterminds. Now, when it comes to high-end masterminds, this has a little bit less rules than the other programs that we talked about. So high-end masterminds are a little bit of a wild card. There's less deliverables, so there's less like modules, courses, lessons, and worksheets, and there's more support and community engagement. High-end masterminds are all about getting in the room with highly successful people. Typically, the person running the mastermind has the wealth of knowledge and information that you're looking for and something that you want to achieve. The people attending the mastermind are of a similar level where they're just they've reached a modicum of success and they just want to get to the next level. So when it comes to pricing for a mastermind, the question becomes, how much is it worth it to have a ticket to be in the room? So think of it this way. You have tickets to go to a concert. You have the normal seats where they're around $100 to $200, VIPs, which are a little bit closer, and those can get in the thousands of dollars. And then you have the meet and greets, which cost a lot more. When it comes to meet and greets, they're considerably more expensive than regular concert tickets. The reason is because being in proximity with that person creates so much value for the person meeting them. Similarly, with masterminds, being in the room with somebody who has that success that they want is going to be so much more valuable to that person purchasing that product or program. And that's why masterminds tend to run in the tens of thousands of dollars. At this point, pricing is totally subjective. It could be anywhere from $10,000 to join a mastermind, upwards of $100,000 to join a mastermind, and maybe even more. So in terms of the customer experience, the reason people pay so much money for these masterminds is because the value that they're getting to be in the room is exponentially more than the price that they paid. And that's really all this comes down to, is value. The value that the customer perceives that they're getting from a product or program. If the perceived value is a lot higher than what's being asked of them to pay, then the more likely that they're going to make that purchase. All right, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you've enjoyed this episode, I would love a review. Let me know your thoughts. You can tag me on Instagram or leave a review in your favorite podcast app, and I'll see you on the next one.